In this video, I will show you when and how we will get to artificial intelligence, AI, that is better at anything than any human. What milestones will lie on the way there, what these milestones mean for you, and what are your best actions once AI hits these milestones. All of this and more in this video. Let's go. Alrighty, let's hop just right in. How do we read this interesting little graphic? First off, in the middle, there is the timeline. So we are here right now. I record this video in October 2023. So I think we have 1 to 2 month wiggle room where maybe, but not very probably, I guess, some of the milestones already will get hit. But again, I don't think like this. Or I don't think that this will happen. Just one little disclaimer. Additionally, I am roughly 51% sure that about the timeline, that we will hit these milestones at roughly these points in time. Very, very probably I'm wrong. I'm probably way wrong with more things than right here, but this is the best timeline that I can come up with. And even if we are off by a month or even a few years, I'm very certain that we will hit these milestones. And the results of it and your actions and once we hit that, what will be possible will still be roughly the same. So even if we are off by a lot, which is definitely possible, this is still something like a bookmark that you can use. So for example, once we hit AI that can recursive self-improve itself, so it builds a better version of itself, then this better version builds a better version of itself again and again. Then it doesn't matter if it's in 2024 or 5 or 6 or whatever. Once we hit that, very, very similar actions can be worthwhile. So just this is the thing how you read it. I plan this format with guests together. So today is just the initial point, like what are my personal timeline views. So that's why, well, that's my name. My name is Ben, as you probably already know or guessed. These are the sources. This is the local AGI guest definition. So what is the definition? What do we talk about when we talk about what happens when we hit AGI? What is AGI? AGI means artificial general intelligence. So intelligence that is more an artificial intelligence that is better at anything than any human. But there are a lot of definitions out there for what it is. So my personal definition that I follow, at least, is the one roughly from Demis Hassabis, the founder of DeepMind, AI that can create novel, Nobel Prize-worthy solutions on its own. So basically, it can create stuff, whatever it is, solutions, insights, knowledge that are at the tippity top of the human possibilities. If it gets it even just once right, so even if it's a very, very specified, etc., AI, I think we are on a turning point, on a trajectory of mankind's history and future, for that matter. So last thing, these are the timeline. Again, these are what will happen. So or these are my milestones. So in purple, in whatever this is, turquoise, I guess. That is, what does that mean for whom? So once we hit that, what does it mean for you or your neighbor or your colleague? And in yellow, what should one do now? So let's go. I think this is relatively self-explanatory. I will just say a few words to each one. So first, X to AI, which means like you have image to video or text to video or genome to data or whatever. So AI is just the man in the middle, basically. Right now we have it with ChatGPT, for example, text to image, tables, videos. I'm not sure actually, other texts, etc., etc. So once we will have fully like multimodal, like at least in writing, not just reading, but writing models, you basically can have like one-man companies, or at least 90% one-man companies, because you still need the mindset to work it out. So you still need the mindset of a founder and the skill set of a founder, but you have, in principle, a dozen or more, or 100 if you want, complete co-workers automated. Like you can say in minute 1, create me a marketing campaign, then in minute 2 you can say create me images for it, and in minute 3 you can say create me a video for it, blah blah blah. So that's basically a big thing. Then I don't think that much later we will have full modality, so not just write but read as well. So you can feed it with everything and it will give you out everything. So you can give a video, you can insert a video and it will give you out a image, lots of images out of it, or whatever you want. So basically read and write mode are a big step forward in innovation and productivity, first and foremost. Number 3 is useful autonomy. What do I mean with that? We already have kinda autonomous agents like Agent GPT or Baby AGI, etc., but they don't work that well. They are still very constrained. So they work kinda like, for example, if you want to plan a vacation or something, they will say, okay, I want to go to Hawaii, and it will look for the best spots and where you can sleep, etc., but they are very, very basic use cases right now. And useful, I mean basically with everything, like just way more complex. Not just, okay, you have to Google a thing, you have to select a thing and then maybe book one thing, but think about it, rehearse it, etc. Then we don't just have the one-man business, but we have like a 1 equals 100 man company option, because then you literally can just say, build me a, I don't know how big, for the sake of argument, a multi-billion-dollar company, and it will distill the steps. It will go through the steps and it will go through them one by one. So I call this dreams to prompts to reality. So you have an idea, like you're perfect, I don't know, I want to have a software company or something is my dream. Then I have to just put it in the right prompt. Like, what do I communicate this through with whatever AI I have, GPT 5 or 6, at this, probably 5 at this point. And then it will make it reality together with you. So you have a lot of options like before in milestone 1, but now they are scalable, they are at scale. Now the thing can do everything into everything, but more or less autonomous, and so at scale. Then we will have a more mundane breakthrough at one point. I think in roughly half a year, that's quite a good thing, or a good point in time, a realistic one, where we'll have the cost per token 100th. So it will cost 100th or less of what the costs of the cost per token are right now. So in October 2023, I've inserted this graphic as well. Right now we are at 0.03 per 1K tokens for the 8K context window, which still, if you want to have big business models running on it, it's very, very expensive right now. So I think if we get over this, we have way more possible business cases. Plus, that's the second point. I think we will have a context window with more than 1 billion tokens. Right now we have 8K and 32K. We have with Claude 100K, which is cool, I guess, and it works, but we need way more. And at least in principle, there's this paper from Microsoft. We can have context windows as huge as the whole internet. What is the context window? It is basically the RAM of the AI, so your short-time memory, which can be extremely huge. So if you combine this, it's very affordable. So right now it can maybe do a lot of things, but you can't actually afford them, which is not that great. So I think the combination and this final milestone compared with one or more of the first milestones will be a big thing, actually. This I already explained a little bit, like then we maybe get at the point of recursive self-improvement. So we can actually have this right now, but right now you need a human in the middle. So for example, you talk with GPT, say, give me an image of whatever, then it gives you 4 options of this image, and then you say, okay, criticize these images, what are good, what are not good, then it will give you a critique, and then you say, now give me the same images, but with the critique inserted. So, and it will enhance its own images. But right now, again, it needs a man in the middle, it's slow, it's clunky, it's not cool. So it's already possible in principle, very, very basic, of course, but if we get this a little bit more complex and automated, I think this is a very critical point as well. And I think the main mindset, mental model that one will need then is the weight calculation. So is it useful for me to get started with a project that takes, I don't know, 3 months or 6 months or something? Or are we now at the point where AI is that fast improving in that many areas that I can just wait for 1 or 2 months with the whole project, and then I have a solution where I don't need 3 to 6 months, but just a week to build it, and I'm good. So this is basically the question. If you miss the bus, is it more useful to wait for the next bus or just walk? So this is the weight calculation problem. And I think this is a very, very important calculation for a lot of companies, and then even single persons. Again, we have with extra AI, with useful autonomy, with full modality, enough options, and even with just one of the 3, that this will enhance and multiply the options per person massively. I think the best thing then, besides the mental model of the weight calculation, is 10x and 100x thinking and building to learn and to really dig in and take in. So how can I build something that is 10x better or 100x better than the thing that I thought of today or a year ago or something? Because then it will be possible, or very, very close to possible. If you have an autonomous agent that can improve itself based on your inputs with you in different modalities, like in images and videos and text and whatever, I think that's a great thing. Then I think in the second half of next year, we will hit the point where synthetic data is better in quality and quantity than these of humans, which will be, again, a huge thing. Because right now, if I recall correctly, even GPT-3 was already trained on basically the whole internet. So everything that humans did for the last 12,000 years is basically already in there. So we won't get much progress on the data, on the input side. And right now it's kind of a battle. It's a very fierce discussion if we will get synthetic data better than human data or not. This is the whole topic on its own. You can very Google it, have fun going down that rabbit hole. But I think, and with the arguments I've seen in the last weeks especially, that we can get there. If the model that builds the training data is good enough, I think we can actually get there. Which again will be a huge thing, because you get AI better by better algorithms, better data, and better hardware, basically. So better algorithms is all the things that we have already. Better hardware is, to some extent at least, is this part, and now better data, so better learning examples, basically, is this milestone, which will lead to 2 things, I think, in specific. Precision of answers will get a lot better. So if you ask very, very, very specific stuff, it will hit this very, very specifically. And hallucination rates will go down a lot, I think, because it has way, way, way more examples. It doesn't need to fit or to just hallucinate some things that aren't there, because it has way, way more to work with in the first place. So then we will get the option to test new old use cases again. So if you think, okay, I already tried AI out for something, but it hallucinates way, way more, for example, in the law. So for lawyers, I think these could be use case where with more synthetic data, you can use it way, way better. Then we come to the last 3, I think latest, and this is not really constrained actually to this part of the timeline, but at least here it makes sense that we will get the first really killer applications. Like right now, AI is cool, but AI itself is not a use case. So you build something with AI, that is the use case. So like large language models are the option that enables ChatGPT to work. So what could be these killer applications? It could be a lot of stuff. Like, for example, interact with reality in a different way. So you look at stuff and it will give you the information, what it is, what is the history, what you can do with, etc. We basically have this already. So this won't be the critical thing. But if I had the idea of a killer application, well, then I would work on it probably. So my argument is you have way, way more options right now, as I described. So with these new options, you can build completely different stuff. And this completely different stuff can be very, very useful for a lot of people. So basically, it is like with the steam engine. So you had the steam engine, and based on that, you could build trains, you could build cars, you could build big machines, etc., because you have a whole new paradigm of technology. So I think in the second half, at least, that's, I guess, quite okay to make a forecast. We will have killer applications that can actually enable completely new industries and economic sectors. Like before we had lenses, there wasn't really a good photography and then video on it industry. Then we got good, really, really good with a mixture of technology, also like software, etc., and chips, and especially with glass. And then, well, hallelujah, we had a new industry. I think we will get to this point somewhere next year. So, but then again, this is the playing field for everyone. So you need speed in execution more than anything else. There's a very, very good article on nfx.com on exactly this that I really recommend for thinking about it. Then we hit the last two, and here it will get a little bit more speculative, I guess. But I mean, again, all of these are very speculative, and we will hit all of them somewhere. Probably not in this order, and probably not at this time or points in time. But well, yeah, more in my intro, I guess. So then I think we will get to the step where AI can reason. I call this more than 90%. I don't know how to quantify this better because we don't even know fundamentally what reasoning is and how it works in humans. So yeah, take it with a grain of salt. I think, and this is my personal milestone within the milestone, that at this point, AI can check all the boxes for. There's these funny checklists there on reasoning. And the checkbox that I didn't check right now, and while I think that AI is not self-aware in a way, at least it's not able to reason, is metacognition. So it's not able to comprehend the things that it builds. So it builds stuff, and then it's also like in the meta position, and can reflect on that and build on that as humans can. So I think this would be like one definite point where I think, okay, if AI can meta reason, which again, I'm aware, as there are already systems out there that kinda can do it. We are again not sure exactly. I don't know if there's peer-reviewed stuff there, but I think if we have it off the shelf, basically. So I think it's possible. It's a tough nut to crack, actually, but I think it's possible. And this will mean, for all intents and purposes, I guess, that everyone has president-like powers, at least if it comes to information and actionable possibilities. So, I mean, the president right now is the mightiest man on the earth, mainly because he has a lot of agencies and people, thousands and tens of thousands of people working for the government and et cetera, et cetera. So it's like a meta-organism just working for this main department. And if you can have all this way smarter, just working for you, or roughly again, then I think this is a crazy milestone, honestly. I don't know, it's completely possible as well as we will never, or in 50 years, hit that. But all I've seen, at least this year and in the last like 10 years, roughly, it's just roughly extrapolation, I think we will get there. Again, not 100% sure, but not by a lot that exactly next year, but I think it's realistic. And again, just more than 90%. I don't know if we will ever get AI that can reason fully, whatever that means actually. We have to make sure first, like humans, I don't know. What are the implications? You basically can now routinely ask impossible and unthinkable questions. So when you think, can I build a Dyson sphere in my living room? Well, you then have someone who can think with you how you can maybe do it, and what would it mean? Like it's again, it reflects on the question and the answer it gives. So it's like a flywheel basically. You have two cycles that work with each other. And then the last thing that is not even needed, actually, not even necessary per se for AGI, but I think it's a very useful piece, are multimodal robots that are cheaper than $10,000 a piece. Again, we see already very, very straight progress. Like, for example, the most prominent probably the Tesla bot, which will cost something slightly north of 20,000 euros, if I recall, dollars, maybe also euros, if I recall correctly. But I think the magical threshold will be something around 10K. Because then you basically can have first, and even in your private environment, mass mass or swarm learning effects, like with the Tesla fleet right now. Every car learns from every other car that drives. So when one car is in front of an elk, another car that never has seen an elk gets updated. So you can have this then even on your very local environment, plus on everyone else's Tesla bot as well, or whatever bot, honestly. So this is a big thing, first. And second, there are the options for Home Factory 2.0. So Home Factory, I don't know if it's a concept from me, probably not. Probably I heard it somewhere, but it's a concept that I actually like, is the concept that you have one robot or more robots and a 3D printer, and you can basically have a small factory somewhere in your house or on your yard or whatever. And with multimodal robots that are that cheap and working, you can have this in like 2.0. You basically could build an assembly line with robots there if you wanted to. This is the point where at least it gets feasible and you get enough bang per buck, as the saying goes. So this is a wild card, actually. I don't know fully. It's hard to comprehend what would be possible. I think asking the right questions is a very good starting point. Like, what can you do with this power and with this support? And what can you even do if it gets cheaper? Because once it's figured out, and I don't think we are that far away from figuring it out fully, it's just a question of how can you mass produce it. So this is a big thing on its own. Again, every milestone on its own is a big hit and will create lots of progress, but all combined, I think, will be the baseline, the fundament for AGI. So again, maybe you don't even need the embodiment, so AI in a body in a way. Maybe you do. So even the people who argue with the embodiment thesis, so that you need for a fully intelligent being, you need a body that can interact with the environment. Even then you have this. So we have checked a lot of boxes, which I think makes it very realistic that we will get an AI that is better at everything and anything than any human on Earth. And for everyone, at everyone's disposal, for very, very few dollars per month, I guess. So then it's just the question, what will happen then? I don't think there will be a big explosion like technological singularity out of the box. I really don't think so, because markets, and especially humans, are very, very slow at adapting these stuff. So the people who will adapt it first will have an extreme advantage over everyone else, but then just the usual dynamics of systems will still work and take place. So I don't know what will happen, but I don't think it will happen fast. I think it will easily take 1 to 5 years or something. I don't think it will be a fast takeoff in days or weeks. It will be way, way faster than anything we have ever encountered before, but still it will be comprehensible for a median human, as Sam Altman says. So that are the milestones. That are roughly actions that you can take. Again, this is a way more complex topic, and I try to distill it as good as possible. If you want to have more per milestone, more input on the whole timeline, etc., just you can comment below. Maybe I will make a longer video. Originally this was planned for 20 minutes max. I don't know how much I will cut it. Let's see. So I hope this will give you the option to plan and to think about milestones that AI can hit. Again, not sure if it will happen all next year or even in the next years, but I'm very certain that most, at least, of these milestones will hit at one time. And I think the actions and the implications are still standing, even if they are just one of them hits or they are apart a few years. So I hope this can act as a, kind of as a bookmark for you and will serve you well. We see you in the next video with my first guest then. Let's see what we will get there then. Have a great day. See ya. Cheers.